Hey guys, what's up? How y'all doing? I'm here to talk to you guys about the new chapter of One Piece, which is on chapter 1152. This chapter right here was actually pretty nice to see. Although it looks like to me we're about to get into another backstory, the way how it ended. So if anything else, let's just get this started right away. We get to see that some of Gerald's friends are gonna get ready to go back on the surface and get a move on to help out. We have to it Gaban Scoper, or the left hand of the Pirate King, talks to Luffy saying, "Hey, be careful how you use your Conqueror's Haki. These guys are not really immortal if you know how to use it correctly." And we get to see that Loki is trying to come in and help out and says, "Hey, I'm the one who actually faced these guys before and I know I can beat them. Free me and take me with you, Harujin. Let me help out." Harujin's like, I'm not gonna help you out, okay?" And Gabon mentions that Zoro has Conqueror's Haki, which Sanji asks if he has it too, but Gabon doesn't say anything. But he tells Zoro that you gotta learn how to use it, man. Haki is a power that must be understood and tamed, otherwise it won't help you out. Your captain is one of the four emperors. You gotta have his back whatsoever. And Sanji, like I said, asks Gabon, "Do I have it?" or something like that. But whatever. We get to see that Loki asks Harujin, "Are you gonna let these outsiders help you out or what?" And we had to Harujin's like, "Hey, how do I know you're not gonna sell out the government and you can easily backstab Albaf again, huh? Like that. Just like you did on that day, how can you expect me to trust you and all that?" We get to see that Luffy offers Loki to join his crew, saying that, well, Albaf hates him, etc. Not to mention, if he ever does anything stupid, I can always beat him up. And Loki's like, "Hell no, I'm not becoming your stinking underling. That's never gonna happen." And Luffy says he just likes to see how he fights. We get to see that Harujin tells Luffy that I can't let you have him. He's a criminal on Albaf, and I can't just hand him over to you. Gabon ends up saying, "Hey, I know this may generate debate, but hey, you should release Loki." And it's like, are you serious right now? This guy murdered 113 members of the Castle Guard. Not to mention, he left Elder Jarul on the brink of death, killed his own father in cold blood. He's the worst criminal our country's ever known in history. But we had to it. Gabon's like, "Well, I understand that, but there might be more to the story than what we could not realize or look into." More like, Gabon's like, "I understand where you're coming from, but there might be more to the story, and that is up to Loki to tell the truth of it or not." We get to see Luffy telling Zoro and Sanji to go ahead and take care of some things. And of course, the Zoro says something about Shanks, and Luffy's like, "Hey, don't you dare call Shanks, or I'll kick your butt." "Call Shanks dumb or I'll kick your butt," or something like that. And we get to see that Gabon is actually trying to tell Harujin, like, "Hey, I know you guys have different mothers, but you're still brothers. So how about you hear him out first?" We get to see Harujin therefore gets really enraged and says, "You got 3 minutes to explain, Loki. What happened 14 years ago? If you consider yourself a warrior of Elbaf, swear on our gods that what you say is the truth." And this is where it could be very complicated. Even I am having doubts about if it is the truth or not, because like I said and repeating myself many of my videos again and again about Loki, we don't even know if he's even telling the truth or not. That's the thing. He is. And it's always doubtful because we all know Loki in mythology, and our story, or what is said or given to us, is that Loki is a trickster. Hopefully Oda won't be this kind of guy that goes like, "Okay, here's the story. Oh, tricked you guys. It's not the truth," kind of thing. Hopefully Oda doesn't do that, but we'll have to see. I mean, it will be kind of crazy Milanakis, but who knows. Anyways, going back to where Harujin asks Loki for the truth, Loki's like, "Oh man, that's kind of messed up to ask me of that. And you really want me to live that day? Well, allow me to tell you this. I don't want to remember. It was an awful day, something that I don't want to talk about." And this goes back into 14 years ago. This is when Luffy was very young and he hasn't even started his pirate journey yet. Other than that, we get to see Loki and Elder Jarul talking with each other that they got summoned to the castle. And of course, Loki and Jarul talk about some political stuff about the rocks and then the government, which I could care less about because it's complicated dialogue that they go like, hey man, you talking about the rocks, you talking about the freaking like this and that, who knows. But whatever the situation whatever the situation presents itself, the thing is, Elder Jarul and Loki show up at the throne room and see that his father, or King Harold, is actually stabbed by a bunch of spears by the guards, I believe. Whatever the thing is, this happening at the same time, we get to see Gabon talking to Shanks, and they end up talking about like how this is the best view. It's been 10 years since the captain died. It's been so long and your life's completely changed. I honestly just wanted to be a carefree pirate with Buggery, still Albath, you know. And little garden where we met Dory and Brogy. And there's Riley with having to get this is where Ripley having to get along with about his baby son and all that, which is pretty cool. And other than that, Shanks was about to make a comment, and Gabon warns him not to say anything, or he will make sure he doesn't come back alive. Other than that, we get to see Shanks talking to Gabon about like Harold or King Harold of Elbath, and they go like, and Shanks is like, I want to talk to him before it's too late. We don't really know what the talk was gonna be about, but all I know is this happened before Shanks met Luffy, and Shanks lost his arm. In the flashback that's shown here, Shanks still has both of his arms, or he still has his left arm, if anything. Hopefully that is shown correctly, which is shown here. By that time, the chapter continues on to the very end, where Elbath's most beloved king is killed, and King Jarul was injured, and there's a freaking forbidden devil fruit passed down within Elbath that's been found by a silhouette, which we don't really know who it is. But we go into the very ending of the chapter, where the giant warrior pirates were known to be the most feared crew of all, because that's just how strong they are and they cause a lot of trouble. But we also get to know that King Harold, he was actually a scumbag, like pure stinking scumbag. That's pretty crazy. And this is because of him is what made the giant warrior's reputation very crazy. He began his reign as king in 45 years of age. Well, 15 in human terms, if anything. But it is said that King Harold was pure scum, as is shown in the ending of the chapter, where he defeats or knocks out one of his subordinates, or a giant warrior possibly, and destroying a castle, and says, hey, where Barahaha, who, go on, tell me who your god is, and the chapter ends up there. So overall, this chapter begins with like Luffy and the others getting ready to go into action, but not before giving tips and advice how to use Conqueror's Haki, which apparently Sanji thinks he has it too, but that has yet to be confirmed. Who knows? As for Zoro, he is given a tip by Gyabon saying, hey man, you gotta learn how to use this correctly, or it's not gonna be useful to you at all, or you're never gonna help out Luffy as you are now. And of course, this is when Zoro actually really realized that, oh man, I really had Conqueror's Haki? That's really crazy. Which is kind of insane, because Kaido did talk to this about Zoro, and Zoro didn't not even take the hint. But other than that, of course, when it comes to wanting to have Loki help out, Luffy offered Loki to join his crew, but nope, Harold does not want to release him, but Gyabon's like, hey, we should release him because he is our possible chance to beating these guys, and we really got no other option. Of course, Harold does ask Loki for the truth, saying you only got a few minutes, so I suggest you really tell me the truth. If you are a warrior of Elbath, you better swear to lie to our gods and to yourself that you're not lying. Which apparently Loki decides to give him the truth, and it is start off with Loki and Jarul having to head to the castle, but they end up seeing King Harold stabbed to a bunch of spears. Of course, there's a scene with Shanks and Gabon reminiscing and talking about the past, but also wanted to talk to King Harold. But before they can even do that, unfortunately, we get to see that it did not go according to plan, and this is where Elder Jarul gets hurt, along with like someone looking at a forbidden devil fruit passed down within Elbaf, and then the chapter ends up with the younger King Harold causing trouble as a pirate or whatever the heck he is, but he was pure scum. So yeah. Anyways, this is going to be an interesting backstory. Hopefully it is the truth, because we don't really, because like I said and repeating myself over again, which I know is annoying, please forgive me on that Loki is a trickster in our mythology, or what we read in our own mythology of what was told and said in either the books or on it or the net. So we'll see how this goes, or how Oda wants to handle it. Hopefully it's not to a situation where Loki's like, okay, I'll tell you the truth, which is not really the truth until much later is revealed, when the timing of critical situations or event arises, the real truth shows up. But we'll have to guess we'll have to see and find out. But this is when King Harold still has his horns when he was younger, so there might be a situation that might have changed all that made him who he is, but we'll have to find out. So, looking forward to see how this backstory goes, and I'm excited. So, until then, I'll see you guys later. I'm Alpha Zitto. Have a good day. I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot.